again, word for word report from Jazina Anderson. Jazina?
I think it's Josina, but I could be.
Jacina Anderson, Jazina Anderson, whatever you want to call
Let's
it.
just call her JoJo.
JoJo Anderson. Okay, here is the report. I'm gonna put it on screen for everybody watching the live stream as well, just because my goodness. Here is the official report. I'm told, I'm reading this word for word. I'm told there are teams within the NFC South with potential interest in Patriots head coach Bill Belichick, per source. I previously discussed potential explorations with the Chargers below. While the future Hall of Famer has an indelible mark, winning 6 Super Bowls with Tom Brady, I'm also told there are still recent high level sentiments within the organization regarding desires to mutually part ways and start anew, per source. Generally speaking, wherever there's pending transition, it strategically involves analysis of the market for feedback, guidance, and hopeful assurance of a landing spot outside of a prospect candidate electing to just take time off. There are still NFL teams whose fates and future direction are pending the outcome of Week 18. Right now, Belichick has 333 wins on the all-time wins list, including playoffs, 15 behind what's necessary to eclipse Don Shula, leading with 347. League sources have said it's a goal for Belichick to surpass this mark. So, I say all of whatever the heck that just was, Billy, to say, wow, there might be a couple of NFC South teams interested in Bill Belichick. I want to say also, the first reply to that tweet was, yeah, this was written by ChatGPT, which I thought was hilarious. What are your thoughts on that report, Billy? A couple of teams in the NFC South may be interested in old Bill Belichick. One of those
My
teams, the
first thought is
Bucs.
my first thought is if that wasn't written by ChatGTP, that was a heck of a vocabulary flexing right there. I mean that the wording that was expensive. Kind of a headache. A lot of nothing, like you said. I don't know though if the Bucks are a team. I think it's probably the Panthers
They would be
if any.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the Panthers. I don't think it's the Falcons. I don't think the Saints. I think the Saints like Dennis Allen for whatever reason. But I think that, yeah, I think it's probably the Panthers if there is a team. But that's extrapolating because there's really that, like you said, that is a lot of words for nothing to actually be present in them. It was just one long nothing. Like there's actually nothing there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I will say this: I made a video recently, Billy, here on the channel, talking about a Jeremy Fowler report of ESPN, where he had said that the Bucks coaching staff didn't feel in danger, basically regarding their situation following this season. Um, Took a look at, and also they had talked about the Saints and the Falcons, and it seemed like both guys were safe, all things considered, but Week 18 could change that if one team gives the other team a lopsided loss. It could be a situation where it could be a situation where things may change. If I had to guess, Billy, if I had to guess, I'm going to say that the two teams are one, the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to 100% agree with you on that. And then, like, the Atlanta Falcons, it would be the only other team that I could think of looking to swing big on a coaching hire. The Saints, again, I agree with you where it's like, yeah, they seem like they're pretty entrenched with Dennis Allen as their head coach. And mean you have talked about Bowles in this situation in podcasts past, and even the possibility of Belichick being
Yeah.
there, right? And it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't seem like a fit, in my opinion. Do the Glazers like to swing big? Yes, they do. They've tried to bring in Chip Kelly in the past. They've tried to bring in a guy like Jim Harbaugh, John Gruden in the past. I think
Bruce Arians.
Bruce Arians obviously was a big swing. This may be like wrong, but I feel like they tried to get Bill Parcells at one point. I don't remember, but it sounds right in my head. So the Lovey Smith was kind of considered a big swing at the time. So it could make sense, but nah. It just doesn't, not for Bill Belichick. If this was maybe a Jim Harbaugh report, maybe I'd be more inclined to say, well, maybe there's something to that. But a big nothing burger, and I don't think it's necessarily talking about the Bucs. It does reference teams in the NFC South. I don't think the Bucs are one of those teams, and I think that it would more likely be the Carolina Panthers, whose owner is looking for any modicum of stability. My
Yes.
goodness, that man, that owner, needs some help for his team. And he might think of it in the form of Bill Belichick. It also wouldn't surprise me if the Falcons thought, hey, we haven't won in a while. They're very familiar with Bill Belichick, um, based on the Super Bowl. And maybe they'd be another team that was interested. What are your thoughts on that?
I think Arthur Smith feels safe to me.
You
And
think so?
maybe one of the only reasons they would get rid of him would be for a big swing like a Bill Belichick. He feels safe to me. I think the Panthers, yeah, they're desperate. They're clawing for anything. And Bill Belichick is a big name. He's got a lot of success. Everybody in the fan base would obviously know immediately who he is and who they've hired and might fill the stadium, might force people to buy some merch and flock to game days. I don't think there's I don't think it's the Bucs and I don't think it's the Saints. I think both of those coaches are relatively safe.
Yeah, so it seems like we are in agreement with this. But, just wanted to talk about it because I was like, I saw it before we started and I was like, what? I was like, what is this? And I just wanted to talk about it because I know people may want to talk about it. But, meh, kind of a nothing burger there of a report. Probably talking about teams that aren't the Bucs, but still could be interesting. We could see Bill Belichick in the NFC South, just probably not going to be with the Bucs. So, still thought it was a pretty interesting topic. But